Hello and welcome to another video from Miniature Tanks Company. This video will be the assembly process of the M2 Bradley, available at Miniature Tanks Company's website, miniaturetanks.com. So this item comes in many parts. It's a model vehicle kit, and it comes in many scales. So let's get to it. The M2 Bradley, United States infantry fighting vehicle, kind of a Cold War era vehicle. Anyway, so the things needed for this assembly is some Loctite glue or other modeling glue that will work. These clippers here, officially called wire cutters, but I like to call them sprue cutters, or you can search. The wire cutters and sprue cutters about the same. And then this sanding stick. So I'm just going to set these items aside and bring them in as I need them. And here's all the parts for the M2 Bradley. So the first step before we bring out the glue is actually to take this clipper here. And we're going to clip away these little parts. These parts are the parts that make up the rocket launcher for the M2 Bradley. Rocket launcher, I believe, maybe like it launched the guided missiles or something like that. All right, so after having those pieces cut away, I'll set them aside. These are the skirt pieces, and these two pieces will be glued together. So all of those pieces are not needing to be cut with the sprue cutters, but this one, the turret, the gun, is needing some work there. So for this step, be very careful, especially for the smaller scales. This particular scale that I'm working with is the 15 millimeter or the 1/100 scale. So if you're cutting away these pieces in the 12 millimeter scale, the tiniest scale, it's even smaller than this scale, be very careful. But if you are cutting this away in anything pretty much bigger than 15 millimeter, this process will just be slightly easier. But I'm making this video for you now in 15 millimeter, just to make sure you know the steps, and just be careful. You need to cut away this support plastic underneath the gun. All right, so there's the little MG or whatever, and then all right, there's that. Now, just be careful. I'm cutting away this plastic material underneath this gun here, trying to make it have a nice looking edge under here. In addition to cutting it away, you can bring in your sanding stick and you can sand these under the gun down a bit. So that will work as well. Just be careful not to break this little gun. Once that's to your liking, for this to be for the wargaming quality, tabletop gaming quality, all your parts are now cut and you don't need this anymore. Correction, actually you do need this. There's some pieces here that you need to cut. You need to cut away the support plastic there. These little support plastics that are holding up those pieces. All right, just carefully clip away, and then, like I'm doing, cut those pieces away. Now, I believe the cutting away process is complete. So you can put your clippers off to the side, and then the sanding stick, I am done as well. Now we're going to bring in our Loctite glue. So like I said, you could use Loctite glue, or you could use some other glue. The first step for the gluing process is we're going to put some glue along this edge here. Now with Loctite glue, you don't need to put tons of glue. It's pretty strong. And with this process, be very careful to place this in the correct spot. If you have quick setting glue, you don't have too much time to move it around. But thankfully, I put it in the correct spot. This needs to be even here. And just make sure it's pressed down against the bottom part is pressed against the top. And just double check everything before the glue officially bonds. Make sure that it's all good in the correct spot. So the body of this tank, the hull, is now glued together. Actually, now we need to glue the back. So just take some glue, putting 3 little dabs of glue there. All right, so take this piece here and carefully put it like so. And there you have it. You can put it on the flat surface to make sure it's going down in the correct spot. And of course, keep an eye on it, making sure it's going in the correct spot. Make sure all the features are lining up well. It's all even. I always say this, just make sure you move it around, move this little model around, make sure from all angles it's all being glued into the correct spot. Now officially the body of the tank, the hull, is complete. So we can just set that aside for now. Now we're going to glue the turret together. It's always good to practice with your pieces before you officially glue, so you can see how the features, it'll glue like that. Simply just take some glue, put a little bit of glue, and like I said, the Loctite glue, you don't need to put much. And then carefully place this like that, making sure that it's going down in the correct spot. Once it's in the correct spot for sure, press it together tightly to make sure it bonds well. There you go. There's your turret. Now you can put that turret in there. Then you can see how it can traverse nicely. Up next, this little launcher. You may as well glue this together. This is the way it should be looking. So if you can study that, this little doodad here, and the way this is facing, that's the way it should be going. So for this one, it's fairly simple. Just put one little dab of glue, and then small parts, so be careful. You see I'm having the flat surface helping me make sure it's going in the correct spot. There you go. Once you see that it's in the correct spot, firmly press it together. And there's the little launcher. Now, we're going to be working with the tracks now. Make sure that this part of the track is facing forward on the tank. So it should be like that, you know. So to show you, like I said, it's always good to practice where you place the item before you officially do that. See this little curve or circular piece up here? That's where it connects to the track, essentially like that. It's always good to leave a little bit of gap between there, so the tracks are not touching the top, but it all is what you wish. If you wish for a simple assembly, you can just push it in there and it should be fine. All right, so for this gluing process, put little glue there and just put little dabs of glue in various spots where it will be touching there. Now, carefully take this track without dropping it on your surface and without getting glue on your skin, and put it in the spot that's, there we go, right like so. Once it's in the correct spot, you think, like I say, firmly press it so it's going to get glued down. And of course, the next step, a duplicate of what we just did. Put a few dabs of glue down. Here is the little lid for the Loctite glue. It's nice and easy to put the lids back on. All right, so then, just like the other side, put the tracks on like so. Make sure it's going down and evenly where these are even there. Another way to test is to test it on the surface to make sure that it's going down. And once you think it's in the correct spot, firmly press it. There you go. You have your little hole, the body of the tank, with the turret. And for the most part, this M2 Bradley is complete. Now we just need to glue on the launcher. For that, put a little bit of glue there and just on the side there. There is the glue for the launcher. Then take the launcher like this and go like that. There you go. Now the launcher is glued on correctly. Now what you can do, optionally, the M2 Bradley is complete if you wished for it without skirts. But if you wish for the skirts, let's do those now. Here is the left side of the skirt. You can see how it will go on. Like I said, always practice before you place. So just take your Loctite glue or whatever modeling glue you use and put a little bit of glue down. Now with skirts, it's always a good idea to put some at the end too. That way one end of the skirt is not out a bit. So a good guide is this back part. Just put it along there. Make sure it's going down the correct spot. Once you think it's in the great spot, press down a bit. Make sure it's... All right, so there's the skirt on that side. Now we're going to go and do the skirt on this side. Goes without saying that we just put some glue down like that, but also it's a good idea to put some glue at the end points. Make sure that the full part of that skirt is being glued down. This one's really easy to figure out where it goes because of this, the way it lines up. All right, so officially we are done, and this is the M2 Bradley from Miniature Tanks Company. It's available in many scales. Wargaming scales, train set scales, and you can get it at miniaturetanks.com. Thank you so much for watching.